Hey guys, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and I'm just gonna quickly okay, maybe not so quickly, but rant and ramble about what I really enjoy about Albion Online. Gameplay in the background is just gonna be some random miscellaneous thing, because this is not like part of my official review kind of thing. I just felt like putting something positive out there in the airwaves, because I've been kind of harsh on this game that I've kind of been playing non-stop, and I've been playing it not just for the review. Really, I've played it enough for a proper review. However, I kind of like, I really have this hunger to go deeper and deeper into the game because I'm personally enjoying it a lot. And at the same time, I want to kind of claw out the goodness, right? I just want to mine out the gold here and show you and reveal it to you so that you guys actually know why I'm enjoying the game or why I keep making these videos, even if most of them are very toxic. I had a comment saying, why do you keep making videos if you hate the game? The thing is, I don't hate the game. I actually really like some of the core concepts of the game and some things that could happen in the game. And I guess now I'm gonna make a video kind of saying that. So yeah, no script, guys. I'm just kind of, talking from the heart. Hopefully you appreciate that. So the first thing that I like about Albion Online, and the reason why I really wanted to jump into it, was the idea that you could make your own class. The idea that you actually build your character. You take the weapons that you want, and then even from those weapons or the armors and shields, you select the different abilities that you actually want from that. So you can basically, you create different player kits, and I think that's super neat. I really appreciate that. As somebody who loves hero shooters and just character games in general, I love taking a specific kit and then kind of like working with that and seeing what I can do and kind of breaking some rules and boundaries. And I love kind of, it's like I'm given a paintbrush, a specific kind of paintbrush, and then I kind of from there draw what I want in the game. But what's really kind of cool about Albion is that it is a role-focused game, so it is a hard role game. So you do have your hard supports, you do have your tanks, you have your DPS, you have basically the Trinity. You have your roles, but they give you the ability from there to create your own classes. And from that, it's so specific, you create your own full character kits. You really have a very expressive way of actually playing the game. If somebody's actually gonna PvP you, jump on you, if you're actually playing with a group in PvE, your friends or your enemies can actually really get a feel for what kind of player you are based on how you play with the unique setup that you actually have. There's lots of different kinds of tanks. I saw freaking frost staff tanks that mostly just kind of kited around the map. I saw axe tanks, which mostly just focused on one target at a time. And then I saw different, or there's normally different types of DPS, but there's lots of different kind of DPS. And the way you play lots of different DPS is really interesting too. So you do have some where you just kind of stand back and you just kind of have like a normal rotation and you kind of combo certain abilities and time it. And then you do have all the different kind of DPS where it's more focused on ganking, maybe it's focused on PvE, or maybe it's a little bit more well-rounded. Maybe it's solo survival. I don't know, maybe you actually have a build that's just on escaping. You have different kind of mechanical play, like with the spear, you have positionals where you need to position, kind of like behind two enemies so you can pierce both of them at the same time, effectively doubling your DPS. And then you have certain kind of DPS abilities where you're like, you have to do circle AoEs, so ground targeted, and you have to actually time that appropriately. And you have lots of different ways of targeting and aiming different spells, and I have confidence that they're going to continue to add lots of different kind of stuff like that. And you got lots of cool abilities like wind walls and flings and lots of interesting CC and all that good stuff. And I'm sure I could go on and on about how I want more and more of that, but like I said in my previous video, the foundation of the game is laid and they've got some cool stuff in it. Okay, it's not all bad. Even though the game is kind of just a skeleton, that's true. It literally is the truth. The game has been remade so many times that it doesn't really have much meat on it. But what it does have, even though I think it's still lackluster, it actually is still very fun and engrosses me to the point where I kind of just want to learn all these little micro systems, these micro mechanics, because in the future, I can't wait till they add new stuff. I can't wait until they add new armors and new weapons so that I can kind of combine it and make new builds myself. Of course, I could go on and talk about how the builds are, in a way, very limited, and I wish they were a little bit more expressive, but face value, they are a little bit expressive. You can make your own builds, and that is the main draw of Albion Online, is that it's a MMO sandbox PvP game where you make and break armors, where you go out and you fight with your friends and you fight swaths of enemies, or you can even duel. There's just a number of ways to play the game, and to me, personally, it's mechanically satisfying because of all the different builds. I do actually like the click to move. I do have some issues with some of the, raw mechanics of the game. We got another video talking about all the negatives, But in the end, I do appreciate click to move. I appreciate all the different aiming types, you know, ground targeted, piercing positionals, all sorts of stuff like that. I love, you know, all the different role stuff. They have the different kind of healing, the shielding, you know, the assassination, the damage over time. You know, they basically have everything that you could really want in the game, you know, for, I guess, like mages and actual like rogues and ninjas you can kind of craft. You can kind of do really the base concepts of any MMORPG, and I think it's done well. I like that. But at the same time, you can go a little bit further. A little bit further. I really do appreciate that. So you can be a support with a healer. Also, though, you can be a shielder. So you can actually just shield people with the arcane staff. And if you want, you can do some weird builds like attack speed curse staff, where you're just kind of moving all over the place, a little bit more survivally with leather chest. Or you can just go full burst damage curse staff with channels over time. So really, it's very interesting. You have lots of different weapons, which even in those same weapons, if somebody had the exact same armor, exact same weapons, they could play completely different to what you're playing based on what, you know, abilities they're choosing. So I really, really appreciate that. If it's from the dueling, which I also like because you can wager, you know, I did a whole video on that. If it's the dueling, if it's the open world player killing, the ganking, all that good stuff, there's a build for you, there's something that you can do, and there's a style that you can take on. Now, I wish there was more. I wish there was more to it, but in the end, the reason you're seeing all these videos of me complaining about stuff is because, man, dude, they gave us some cool options. I love the idea that there is even options. You know, I love the idea that the game is open and there is some stuff to do, but now that it is so open and that we do have the idea of options, I just kind of want more openness. I want more options because, duh, if that's the whole point of the game, then of course I want more and more. But yeah, anyways, the execution of the game is something left to be desired, but the base foundation is there, right? You can customize your character to such an extent that really that's the main draw for me, which is why I wanted to make a video basically just kind of saying that just a little bit. Now, in extension to kind of wrap this video up here, I want to say that one thing that I appreciate about the game, and this is kind of pulling from my experience with the alphas and betas, and this is also kind of compiled onto the idea of the different builds, you know, actually the gears, you know, choosing your different abilities. It's added onto that because from the alphas and betas, we've seen the game change so radically. You know, they've added so much to the game, but mostly what they've added to the game, and I feel like their concept moving forward, is to make the game not a linear vertical progression, but to make it a horizontal progression. And I think that's really important in a sandbox game as well. And I know some people are probably cringing at that because the game is extremely grindy right now. That is absolutely true. But really, all they've done is add more stuff that you can do, like more weapons. They've only added more weapons. I know they took out some, like throwing daggers, but I think when they add, like, expand the game, hopefully they don't add new tiers, which is like, you know, just basically stronger versions of the same weapons you use. Hopefully they don't do that, and instead they'll, you know, bring back throwing daggers, shurikens, throwing hammers, axes, and, you know, they'll give us a whole new expansion of a whole new weapon line. I think that they're going to do that, because what draws me to Albion is that concept of trying out different builds and, you know, trying out different weapons and playing with them, and, you know, in all the different ways you can play with them, with the, you know, the Trinity of PvE, as well as just player killing, or, you know, you can actually do the guild versus guild stuff. There's a lot of different ways to play with these builds, and there's a lot of different builds to play with, and that's the fun thing. And I think from what I've seen from alphas, betas, all these multiple tests, is that they will expand the game horizontally. So yeah, we're gonna get fishing. I don't know, there's a lot of talk about boats and ships, and I think they want to make that happen one day, maybe in a year or two. But I think they're gonna keep adding on new stuff for us to do, almost theme parkish. But I think it really, really works for Albion Online, which is almost, it's basically kind of like a theme box or a sand park, if that makes sense. There's lots of different stuff that you can do specifically, but you do it in your own unique way, which kind of makes it sandbox. Like I said, it comes back always to the core idea of Albion Online, which is there are no classes, and there's really not very much archetypal stuff either. It's really like you build your character, you build your kit the way you want to from the ground up or from the gear up. You know, you pick this gear, which makes sense in an economy game. You got to buy different weapons for different occasions and all this cool stuff. And I don't know, man, it really all works in cohesion together. But here's the thing. For all my other videos, it's really just me saying there's not enough. But here I am making a video now saying what is in the game is still fun. It's still cool. I don't regret my time. I know a lot of you have commented and said you did. But I'm also, even though I have been very harsh, some people would say toxic, I'm actually listing here as a positive that I think the game moving forward is gonna be awesome. I think they're gonna constantly add new stuff to the game. But that is also my optimism, and that is my bias. I like this game, I like this genre, and I'm only harsh because I really do like it. Now, if the game ever adds like new tiers, and if like their first expansion, if their first big update adds a tier, I promise you, I will actually make multiple videos condemning this game, shitting on this game, and listing every reason why people shouldn't play it. And yeah, hopefully that doesn't come to pass. But it is my optimism, and really I think like my educated guess, you know, my best hypothesis is that this game will add a horizontal progression, just add new toys for us to play in this sandbox. And I feel like that's the core idea of Albion, and that's the core concept that I really, really want to push and promote. And yeah, that's just me kind of gushing about the idea of playing Albion Online. So if you guys have not played Albion Online, one of the main reasons, you know, even though they haven't added new weapons just yet, there's a lot of toys to play with already, kind of, sort of. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go gank, get the double-bladed staff, try that out, or hey, maybe try the warbow or something like that. I don't know, maybe you could gank with the frost staff if you really, I don't know, maybe a duo ganking build. I could see it, attack speed, I'm thinking about that. Attack speed frost staff, yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of really weird things that you can do in the game. So yeah, I mean, personally, I just want more of that, but if you're a totally new player, there is something to try out here. There are some toys to play with, and I want you guys to know that. So that's the main reason, that's the main meat of Albion Online, and hopefully you guys can appreciate that if you do jump into the sandbox. Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Skylent, and hopefully you have been watching my other Albion Online videos. This is part of a series of a full review of Albion Online, just so you know what I think about it and if you should try it. And I'm just gonna say, I give it a thumbs up. I think it should be tried, but I will kind of mimic what I've said in other videos, and you should go watch those videos so you really know the situation. But give it some time. Give it some time. Let's let the game kind of cool down, simmer down here, and I don't know, wait for an update or two, and then jump in. Yeah, I think you'll have some fun. Hopefully you do. I'll see you in the next one.